All right, let's get right into it. The last week of February 2026 completely rewrote the rules for the entire gaming industry. It's like the source code that dictates success and failure just got a massive system-wide patch. So today, we're going to debug that code together and figure out what is really going on. Okay, so let's set the scene. We are operating with data as of February 24th, 2026. And what we're tracking? Well, it shows the market's most fundamental rules are being rewritten as we speak. And look, this isn't about just a few hit games. Oh no, it's much deeper than that. This is about the very rules of engagement changing for everyone, for developers and for us, the players. And when we run the diagnostics, this is what the system spits back out at us: severe structural fluctuations. Now, in plain English, that means the core logic that governs what makes a game a hit or a flop, it's become completely unstable. The ground is shaking. Something big is happening. So, you ready? Let's plug directly into the main line here and trace all this data. We're going to debug this whole situation line by line to get a real handle on the new reality of the gaming world. First up, let's debug the market itself. We all know this industry is a notoriously unforgiving ecosystem, right? Well, it's now entering a period of change so massive, you can basically just toss the old rulebook out the window. And you know, this quote from the source material just absolutely nails it. The industry is ruthless. Normally, a bad launch is game over, a literal death sentence. But what we're seeing right now, man, it defies all conventional logic. It's like the laws of physics are breaking. Let's look at our first piece of evidence. Which brings us right to our first case study. We're calling this one a Monster's Redemption arc. This is the absolutely wild story of Capcom's AAA behemoth Monster Hunter Wilds and its unbelievable turnaround from the very brink of extinction. In the world of live service games, getting hit with mostly negative reviews on Steam is the kiss of death. The game was a total mess, horrific performance, server issues that ruined the fun, and a really punishing economy. Monster Hunter Wilds should have been dead and buried in the digital graveyard by now. But it wasn't. So how'd they pull it off? This wasn't just some minor patch. This was full-on open-heart surgery on a live game. Capcom didn't just tweak a few things. They optimized the engine's memory cache to fix performance, completely rewrote the netcode to salvage multiplayer, and, this is crucial, they restructured the entire in-game economy to respect the player's time. A total top-to-bottom overhaul. And this quote from Sabrina over at TekinGarage just perfectly captures the result. See, when you fix a broken game with this level of passion and commitment, you do way more than just win back players. You forge a bond, a kind of loyalty with your community that can be even more powerful than if you'd had a perfect launch. That's the real magic of a true redemption story. But hold on, the story doesn't even end there. It gets crazier. Data miners digging through the code of this massive new patch found the next big evolution: irrefutable, hard evidence of a port for the Nintendo Switch 2. And I'm not talking about some vague rumor here. We're talking compiler-level instructions for ARM architecture. This is really happening. So why is this such a big deal? Well, it all comes down to a nerdy little thing called memory bandwidth. For a game as huge and demanding as Wilds to run on a handheld, even a next-gen one, it means the Switch 2 has to have a terrifying leap in power. We're talking a monstrous jump in GPU muscle. This single game could be the system seller that defines the next generation of portable gaming. It's a huge clue. Okay, let's pivot to our next file. We're shifting from a AAA giant pulling itself from the brink to an indie legend making a huge gamble for its throne. This is all about Slay the Spire 2. And this really is the central question, isn't it? How do you improve on something that so many people consider to be, well, flawless? The original Slay the Spire was a perfectly tuned machine. It basically perfected the deck builder roguelike genre, so how on earth do you make a sequel without breaking the magic? Well, their answer is bold. They're changing the game's core DNA. Dropping on March 5th, Slay the Spire 2 isn't just adding new heroes. The biggest, most disruptive change is a fully cooperative multiplayer mode. And that is a massive, massive risk. This analogy from Claude is just perfect. Adding co-op to a tightly balanced single-player experience is exactly like adding a second core to a CPU that was only ever designed for one. If those two parts don't sync up perfectly, the whole system just crashes. But if they get it right, if they can make it work, the strategic possibilities could be exponentially greater. Now, while these established giants are evolving and taking risks, there's a whole new wave of games crashing onto the scene, each trying to find its place in this chaotic new market. Let's talk about the new challengers.
First, we've got Tides of Tomorrow. This isn't another live service treadmill. This is a deep, atmospheric, story-driven adventure. Its whole mission is to set a new visual benchmark, especially with its mind-blowing water physics and environmental storytelling.
And on the complete opposite side of things, we have Rise of Piracy. Now, let's be super clear. This is not an arcade action game. This is a hardcore, ruthless, down-and-dirty simulator where you manage everything: the ship's economy, wind physics, crew morale, the whole shebang. It's aiming to be the undisputed king of a very demanding niche.
So here's the quick breakdown. You have Tides of Tomorrow pushing the boundaries of what a narrative game can look and feel like, while Rise of Piracy is all about deep strategic simulation. They're two completely different kinds of ships, sailing straight into the same volatile storm.
So, what does this all mean when you put it together? When we compile the data from a redeemed giant, a risk-taking king, and these bold new challengers, a very clear pattern emerges. We're witnessing a new law of survival being written in real time. So here it is, the new rulebook. Survival in 2026 isn't just about having a perfect launch anymore. It's about listening to your community, like Capcom did. It's about having the courage to evolve your core DNA, like Slay the Spire 2 is attempting. It's about taking smart, calculated risks and pushing the technical boundaries of what's possible. The new name of the game? Adaptability. That's everything. Which leaves us with one final critical question. We've debugged the code, we've identified the new variables in the equation. So in an ecosystem this unpredictable and demanding, where redemption is possible and evolution is mandatory, who do you think has what it takes to survive?